Welcome everybody, my name is Ace, this is the Wolves Garage channel, and today I'll be sharing with you my currency strategy. Now if you're just here to rip off that PoE planner because you are clever enough to figure out the strategy by yourself, it should be in the description box below, assuming the link remains valid for an extended period of time. Otherwise, check out the video. I will go through the actual atlas tree as well as the strategy. And we'll start with what you actually have to obtain, because the strategy is a well-known one. There are several people who have different versions of it, but the very core of it remains the same. And the very core, of course, revolves around this delightful harvest craft. For 2.5k yellow juice, you can craft your map with map doesn't consume sextant charges, as long as it's not unique and, of course, not corrupted. Now here we have Warped Solitude Dunes map. Dunes, the map that I have been running for quite a while. I've enchanted it. I've rolled it first. Found the 30% pack size, because you want to hit the pack size as much as you can, because that is also very important and maximize your juice gains to sustain this very craft, as opposed to having to buy copious amounts of juice for an incredible hefty price this league. So you roll that, you slam it on there, and you're halfway there. Now, the other part of the strategy is being able to sustain the yellow juice, which involves the sacred growth. We're forcing it onto the map with the sextant. Now, since we're not going to be using sextant charges because of the enchantment, this is infinite sacred growth, which is why we're not speccing into chance for sacred growth on the atlas tree. This is necessary. This is needed. Same thing with this one. The yellow plants, duplication of harvest and life force, as well as making them a little tougher, so do be wary. You do need to have a character that can put up a decent fight, but you will be able to guarantee some more yellow juice, as well as duplicating the life force dropped by those harvest monsters. Now, it is a bit swingy, regretfully. I've walked out of these maps with like 1,000 juice, as well as sometimes with 5,000 plus juice. So it is a bit of a threshold, but once you get past that, it's going to be able to either very slowly deplete or in some cases even gain. It kind of balances each other's out if you keep the strategy up and get a little lucky. Speaking of getting lucky, we are also using gilded scarabs, because I've not been lucky enough to justify a 40 to 50 divine investment into the winged version, which is an upgrade to the strategy, but I couldn't afford that, and I still wanted to do infinite sextant strat. So I got the gilded version. Now you do lose roughly 20% pack size, because we're using 4 gilded as opposed to 4 winged. As you can see, it's a 10 to 15%. So it's a 20% difference of pack size. It is a little noticeable because, like I said, it's a big swing between sustaining and not sustaining. Sometimes you are victorious, otherwise you are very sad. And anything that can help you bump into the victorious side is going to be very profitable in the long run, because you can also sell excess juice if you repeatedly make it. Because occasionally you will also hit the crop proc, as I refer to it. I believe it is the 10% here. And then you can get a little bit of purple juice, a little bit of blue juice, or maybe even a double yellow juice, which happens very frequently due to the specs over here. But we'll go through that in just a minute. I am getting too excited. And the last but not least, this is the one that is modular. This one you can just figure out what you want to do. I have chosen to go with runic monster markers. Now, most people will recommend conqueror maps, which is definitely a thing you can do. You can unspec all of these expedition and, you know, get all these map drops and all that good stuff and try to go for duplicate nodes. You could totally do that. I, however, don't hate myself and wanted to do some expedition. So I spec'd into expedition, which also scales very well with pack size, which we are bumping because of the harvest. So there's like a bit of a synergy going on there. Unfortunately, we are not forcing the expedition onto the map with a sextant. And we can't use the scarab because it's growing horde, right? You cannot use sextants, or I mean scarabs, to force it onto the map, sadly. So what I've done instead is try to block as much as I can. That isn't, of course, expedition. I could probably rip out a point somewhere and actually give myself a slightly better chance by blocking the sacred grove, because we're forcing it onto the map with the sextant anyway. So we could get that 2% there, but I don't think it's necessary. Now, we have grabbed every single node that is relevant to Expedition to gain a more chance for it to show up, as well as just good nodes to make it more profitable, including trying to prefer Tujin showing up, as well as Danny, and Gwenin and Rog still somehow manage to show up quite frequently, so don't worry, they will still show their face. And of course, buried knowledge for that Expedition logbooks. Now, I'm actually not selling the Expedition logbooks anymore. I'm actually running them myself because, as I stated earlier, and as you might have seen on my stream, I actually got a mirror shard the other day. I've been able to farm divines through Tujin. It has been incredibly profitable, infinitely more profitable than actually simply selling those logbooks as I do at the beginning of a league to try to get some basic currency to jumpstart everything. So that's the strategy. Pack size, harvest, maximizing that. Choose your Eldritch Altar of choice. As you can see, you can pick whatever one you want. It's an equal distance of points, as we are going past both of them anyway. If you are confused about the seance node, that has to do, of course, with the gilded particular scarab sextant, or winged, in case you are using winged, if you are rich enough for that, due to the line that says the first 3 possessed monsters. It helps with like a little guarantee that you're going to get your scarabs back. And of course, the shaping the valleys. That's all it is. It's literally that simple, and you pretty much can go infinite on that. Now, the only thing you have to do, and this is the thing that I have messed up myself a couple of times, which is why my sextants may not have 4 charges anymore. Sometimes I forget to enchant my maps. That's the biggest downside to it all, forgetting to enchant your maps. Now, it's not that costly of a price, because as you might have noticed, I also have spec'd into Enduring Influence. I like to roll sextants myself, so I have an abundance of them, and it's a very profitable tactic for me. I know exactly how to target certain particular rolls, and it has been quite lucrative as well. Besides, the sextants drop themselves, and the additional map currency is always kind of fun. This is just a personal note. You could rip out these 5 points if you're not as forgetful as I am, but if you are, you can just stick them in there and forget about it, because the rest of the strategy is pretty much, well, speaks for itself at this point. Pack size and sustain infinitely. Now, I'm going to put those scarabs in. Now, it doesn't matter which scarabs you add. There's no difference. Just use whatever is available or the cheapest to you if you decide to buy them. Just make sure you have that enchantment. Fortune favors the brave. Of course, gives you more pack size, but only if you spec into Shaping the Valleys. Be very wary of that. And you just hit it. And you go. That's all there is to it. So let's see if we can actually show off the actual tactic in the particular map, because there's a little thing you need to remember, which is pretty much simply enough. Try to hit as much quality and quantity as you can handle before you do Expedition, before you do Harvest. Because once again, we're trying to maximize the pack size to get as much juice as we can to sustain the strategy. So we're just going to real quickly move through this and see if we can hit one of those Eldritch Altars. Let's see. Unfortunately, you don't always get lucky with that. And if you click on the wrong thing, it might be ripped. Now this one, super easy for us to run because we are ailment immune. That's easy quality. Here, quantity, rarity, that's the meteor. Now, that is pretty rippy for me. Oh, we actually got lucky. We have a Danny. Danny is pretty good. Oh, the meteors are indeed showing up already. As you can see, we are getting multiple gilded scarabs because we picked up the duplicate, I believe. And we have the guaranteed drops, which are now being, duplicated. So that's also very useful for us. The one thing I do dislike is that the overlays are a little frustrating. I should have not taken the meteors. I really should not have taken the meteors. I'm trying to click on it, but I can't do it because it's overlaying each other. So we're just going to move on. As you can see, I'll pick it off after I'm done, because I just want to get all the altars. Now, one of the things you can do if you are running red, because it's a little less important with red than it is with blue, in case you are trying to hunt down the divine thing, the divine altar. Oh, man, those meteors are something else. I wonder what I would need to be able to just face tank them for all damn day. Anyway. In case you rush the boss first, you are much more likely to hit notes like these, quantity and rarity player gains. Because they don't show up on the boss ones, I don't think. So that would be a better way of like forcing more quantity and rarity upon to your map. But of course, as everybody knows at this point, this league, certainly too, is that it is quite dangerous. There's a reason I am 95 and not 96, 7, 8, 9, or 100. It's been a bit of a struggle. So let's actually do harvest, right? We've done the map. We got a couple of these altars.
Don't let it make a mess.
So we should be seeing quite a bit of juice drop. Now, hopefully we also get a crop proc. That would be most favorable. Totally not me forgetting again that I had the meteors on my flasks. Okay, they're 248, 228, 80, 80. It's very solid. Very good, very solid. 1-1. Getting a little unlucky here. Normally you can see 2, which is always very good. And sometimes you see 3 even. And if you're really lucky, and this doesn't happen very often to me, you can get the boss, which is anywhere from like 1,000 to 1,500 juice. I've seen it drop, which is incredible to get that in one patch of harvest. Ooh, 2. There you go. So this should be quite a decent amount. Of course, we have to keep moving because of the damned meteors. Oh, how I wish I was immune to you. But it's quite rippy, those meteors. It is a very dangerous tactic. So if you are running a character that can unfortunately not take a lot of damage, you may find yourself occasionally ripping as a result of this tactic. One misstep and it can be quite over for you. Now, unfortunately, this is also something that happens where you get no additional tier 3 or tier 4, because that's the boss, of course, which is regrettable.
When I'm ready and not before.
It does happen. And then you walk away with 2,500 juice. Now, we got 1 good 2 proc, 2 1 procs, and 1 0 proc. No crop procs, no bosses. So this is a pretty average haul after getting all those altars. And you only need 2,500 because that's the craft. So we sustained our craft. And also, we sustained the gilded scarabs. Just like that. So the strategy is... Well, the investment is already given back to us, and we made a profit on top of that, and we still have to do expedition. Now, of course, there's a lot of stuff on the... Oh, what the hell was that? There's a lot of... Ow. A lot of stuff on the map, which is giving me a little bit of confusion. Now, of course, you want to be a little bit more attentive with clearing the map, because as you can see, there's a lot of patches which could hold these eldritch altars, which could be more quantity, more quality, which means more profit, more juice, more everything. So we're just going to real quick and dirty do these Dannies. Let's see. Items dropped. Let's see. Need to make sure I don't hit curse immunity or chaos immunity. Does anybody else have the problem that if you look here and there's curse, immunity to curse, it doesn't glow? The amount of times I lost an expedition because of that, it has been more than one, which is embarrassing. But nonetheless, I am not the only one that finds it frustrating, especially not this league when curses and poisons and all that good stuff has certainly taken its spot in the limelight. Oh, that's going to be hot. Oh, burial. Very good. Expedition logbook. We're going to be able to run that ourselves, which is definitely lucrative. Because like I said the other day, I got mirror shards, multiple divines today alone. And hundreds of stacked decks, which have given me a variety of incredible drops occasionally as well. So I think that is roughly it. So this is a quick and dirty map where I took my time. And my character is relatively slow because I'm still trying to work on it. Still trying to improve upon it because it's right now in its medium budget state. But nonetheless, we were able to sustain the juice more than 2,500. We actually gained 22. That's profit. We are able to sustain the gilded scarabs. We got some burial medallions, which is nice. They go for about 5 to 6 chaos right now in bulk. So that's a nice little chunk. We also got an expedition logbook, which actually has Knights of the Sun, which is 55 to 60 chaos in bulk, depending on how much bulk. We can run that ourselves. So that's already, what, 90 chaos? And then we also have the Greater Eldritch, the Lesser Eldritch, even the Grand Eldritch to go for 5. So this is another like 30 in a non-bulk quota. So we have made over 100 chaos in very sought-after currency, like burials, logbook, and of course the Grand Eldritch Embers. And not even accounting for all the other bubblegum currency that I'm going to pick up and sort through after this. There you go, 100 chaos a map. That is not bad. So if you have a very quick character that can handle this, it's profit. And the best part, I don't have to invest anything more because I completely sustained myself. That's the beauty of it. Now, check out the link below. I will post it. I hope that it stays valid. If you have questions, you can check out my Discord. Lots of people there who know what they're doing. There's a PoE channel. Otherwise, jump by the stream when I'm streaming Path of Exile. Love to see your face if you have any questions. Although Discord is probably the best way to do it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. You guys have been lovely. I'll see you guys around. Thank you so much. And as always, I am out.